ultimately are deadly, and whose continued rule ultimately represents the death of the earth. Yes, death. We are made to think that it is the criminal black male that's the threat to the world. 1,000, 10,000 black mothers and killers and sellers of dope cannot do to this earth what so-called civilized, sane white men will do. For the greatest threat to life on earth itself is the white male. Yes. Who has dedicated his whole treasury, raped and robbed the earth of its wealth, created starvation, want, and deprivation in order to invest in the creation of death machines, of vast armies, and vast chemical and germ warfare systems, so as to destroy people by the millions, and ultimately perhaps to destroy life itself. And yet we have some people who see these people as someone to be emulated, as someone to live with, as someone to be just like, who have used them as a measure of sanity, who see their ultimate goal as sleeping with them and marrying them and being a part of their life. You must recognize that if you here hold your own life dear, and the life of your loved ones and life on earth dear, you must bring an end to the rulership of this earth by white males. It's in your own self-preservative interest to do so. You must recognize that European society is pathological. Yes, because Negroes have a difficult time seeing white folk as crazy. Yes, we use them as standards of measure. Yes. We have a difficult time seeing them as the principal criminals on earth, with the longest criminal record of any people. One day we'll talk about our difficulty in seeing this. We'll have time to talk about it tonight. But again, it says something about consciousness, doesn't it? That you can look right at something and not see it, or see it for what it isn't. Yes. You look right at the death and destruction of Indian nations, the death and destruction of African nations, the death and destruction of Australian people, the death and destruction of every people, wherever these people have gone. And yet you see these people as being non-criminal. It's an amazing situation. Isn't it? Yeah. It's an amazing situation. People who degrade us in every possible way. And yet we see them as not pathological. What a trick on consciousness. But of course, you know, this
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. Um, what's going on? Yeah, I'm back at it again. I'm trying to be more consistent, get back on it. And listen, like it or not, there is only one answer, right? Otherwise, we might as well, like what I guess most of us have done. But luckily, I think more people are waking up now. But you know what? I'm just gonna get into what I want to show. You know what I'm saying? I guess I won't be on here too long. We'll see how things go. But so I'll just get right into it. Um, let's see here. Um, I had to play this sister first. I had to play this sister first because it was just refreshing to see. Because I'm not gonna lie, I get really irritated just listening to the cluelessness that we have. Right at this point, like we have pathological issues, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we are the abused in the situation where we make excuses for our abusers and we just hope for the best, but we got enslaved 3 times in the 3 or 4 times, I lost count, in the last 1,000 years, man. And this is modern times. And like all of these scams and all of this stuff that they have going on with the corporation of America, because that's what it's about, to make money. And guess who is the most valuable commodity in all of that? You, your blood, your sweat, your tears, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what up? What up? Yes, Menicide, my brother. What up, my brother Anthony? You know what I'm saying? Well, I appreciate you coming through, my brother. Um, and you can feel it's like, look, for me, it's Friday night. I know for y'all. See, I did my slave work already. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all got to do whatever, but I don't know how long we're gonna be here, but we just gonna go. But I gotta play this sister first because I'm finally glad. It was hard to keep. I used to listen to everything, like all everything and all of y'all was saying. But then I just was like, I couldn't listen to it no more. It just was hurting my soul, my energy, my being. It was destroying me. But let me play this sister.
This is a rant. I know this video will probably not be seen by many, but here I go anyway. For generations, the Black community in the United States has been treated not as equal partners in democracy, but as political tools to mobilize when numbers are needed, but ignored when justice is demanded or received, and scapegoated when outcomes don't work out. Across the political spectrum, from progressives to MAGA, the pattern is always the same.
Lesser of two
Black
evils.
people are courted as
Mm,
voters, but rarely respected as collaborators with independent power,
mm,
agency, and enforceable demands. This exploitation is not accidental, it is structural and strategic. Political parties depend on predictable voting blocks. Media outlets depend on simplified narratives that maintain existing power arrangements, like the two-party system that no longer works. Politicians depend on our turnout without accountability, on the treatment of our community. PACs and donor classes get priority when it comes to receiving demands after they've been elected. Money gives them
Yo,
stability.
I appreciate that,
No
my brother.
of the current system required. In this system, the Black community is often positioned as the moral conscience of the nation, expected to vote for the greater good, to be patient, to compromise, and to sacrifice again and again and again, even when the policies being defended
Mm,
fail to materialize any improvement to Black lives. We are told to vote defensively rather
right.
than
Save
strategically, to
democracy,
vote out
damn
of
it.
fear rather than leverage, to
Mm,
accept symbolic victories instead of structural change. They even got
mm.
some of y'all believing that Black power is some negative phrase that sows division and hate, when really
It
Black
ran a lot of
power
people away from me.
equality for all Black people. which is only gained by building.
You hear that? She said equality for all black people. She didn't say for all people. She said equality for all black people. Right? This is where it ran a lot of, because a lot of us, turns out, isn't about black power. We're about, ourselves, really. We're individuals, which I understand. I'm an individual, but that individual is a part of a collective. You know what I'm saying? And there's no, like, in these movies, like how the white savior, like, me and my friend was watching that Sarah Gold movie, you know what I'm saying, where with and they had to put in the white savior. Like, you could tell what's gonna happen. The white dude is gonna do some white dude stuff and then learn in the end and somehow grow. And this is what we believe that, I don't know, like, psychopaths are. Like, that's not reality. Those is movies. You know what I'm saying? It's fantasy, right? But anyway.
Political and economic power on our own. Quality for Black folks. That's it. So ask yourself why anyone would have a problem with us fighting for that in this so called democracy. Because this is a racist society that has put Black folks at the bottom since the inception of this stolen America. And everybody wants to pretend that it's not that way. But we can't pretend because we live with it every moment of our Black lives. When Black communities raise independent demands on healthcare, housing, policing, education, wealth building, or foreign policy, like the genocides going on in the Sudan and the Congo, we are then accused of being selfish, unrealistic, or my favorite, divisive. When we threaten to change our vote, we are
Divisive.
scolded. When we organize independently, we are surveilled.
When I say there's no lesser of two evils, I was scolded. You know what I'm saying? And when I be like, well, listen, I'm not gonna wait till next time to be like, yo, I'm hungry right now. Like, I'm tired of my situation. Like, I want something that's gonna change my direct situation and not some immigrant, not some Mexican, not some anybody else. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna go do this thing for you, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, I'm not gonna do that and then come back on here like we always do and talk about, well, the stuff that we're gonna talk about today. The UBUNTU ideology for us as black people. The collective comes first over individualism. Individualism, we have to move as a nation. Right. And is a combination. You're never going to get people to be like, oh, well, I'm gonna give up all my individual self. But the key is to educate us on who we are as individuals, you know what I'm saying, and the responsibility that we have to the collective as the individual that we are, you know what I'm saying? And that's the responsibility of older black people, older black men, older black women, to put that into the head of the younger generation, so we not on here thinking we got friends, thinking we need a white savior, but waiting to save democracy, waiting for the next time. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to get scolded no more.
Sudan and the Congo. We are then accused of being selfish, unrealistic, or my favorite, divisive.
I
When we
appreciate that,
threaten
my
to
brother.
change our vote, we are scolded. When we organize independently, we are surveilled. When we ask for concrete returns on our political loyalty, we are told what? To wait at the end of the line. So our schools stay underfunded, our hospitals close down, our food deserts increase. More and more police take out more and more unarmed Black people every day. More and more guns and drugs end up on our blighted streets. Longer.
Yo, you know how much that continues to happen? So much so that I've been on here for like 10 years and I don't even try to show the same thing twice. And I could never show a fraction of everything. It's crazy.
Sentences are given out based upon proximity to Blackness. And on top of all that, you want us to be one issue voters. This is how pawns are treated, not partners. Black political concerns are often
Right, and not even the issue, not even our issue. You want us to vote for issues for other people, freaking for wars in between Arabs and Jews, you know what I'm saying? And gay people and all of this, everything but you know what I'm saying? Like uh Mexicans who was like spitting on us and laughing at us. Like these the issues that they're pushing on top of being. I am a single issue voter. All issues, including black people. The black issue is my single voting thing. So I'm sorry, And if there ain't no lesser of two evils, ain't no lesser of two evils. You know what I'm saying?
pawn proximity to blackness. And on top of all that, you want us to be one issue voters. This is how pawns are treated, not partners. Black political concerns are often framed only through crisis, trauma, or morality, rather than power and policy. Our interests are filtered through what makes other groups comfortable or what is electorally convenient. Black voters are rarely presented as a constituency with negotiable demands because we ain't got no power. Instead, we are portrayed as a dependable base whose support is assumed but never earned. And just to be clear, other ethnic groups, in contrast, are allowed to operate as power blocks. They negotiate, they withhold support, they demand policy concessions, they have built institutions, they receive targeted benefits. Their self-interest is recognized as rational politics. Imagine that. Black self-interest is too often labeled what? Dangerous or extremist, radical. This
Black
imbalance
identity
is not
extremists, baby.
accidental, it's strategic and profitable. In moral debates, Black voices set the tone. In cultural influence, Black people are the culture. We shape the narrative of that nation. The power that has been extracted without being converted into enforceable gains. That must stop. The end of this exploitive cycle does not begin with loyalty. It begins with leverage. It begins when the Black community collectively rejects the idea that our role is to save everyone else while remaining politically destitute. It begins when we organize around our own political and economic agenda, define our own priorities, and refuse to be shamed for demanding policies that save Black people's lives. Our lives are on the line here. And these people want to play political games with our lives because every right we've gained as a community has had a positive effect on every other minority group. So I don't want to hear any talk about, oh, y'all just out for yourselves and blah, blah, blah. Everything we've ever done has trickled down to everyone else.
By the way, everybody is out for themselves, their group of people. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to Chinatown and shutting up. Oh, we're for everybody. We need education on what the hell racism is. You know what I'm saying? Um, so
Read a book. This is not about voting for or against any one party. This is about building our own power block, our own infrastructure. This is about ending a system where Black political behavior is predictable, but Black progress is non-existent. Democracy is not charity. Votes are not gifts. The power is never given, it's taken by any means necessary. The Black community does not need permission to act on its own interests. What is needed now is clarity, unity, and the courage, my God, the courage to break from a political tradition that treats us as tools rather than equals. The cycle can be broken, but only if we're ready to stop the exploitation of our people. I am currently working with Black community leaders, organizing us to do just that. Community control is possible by building our own political infrastructure, starting with forming a Black-led party that will not run a presidential candidate, so just calm down, but instead focus on mayoral campaigns, state legislatures, governor seats, city council, the school board, to build power where we live, community control. You understand? And that political power will evoke economic power as a byproduct. That's how it works. This is exactly what they don't want us to do. This has always been the solution. Our heroes throughout our ancestry have told us time and time again that organizing the masses of Black people, building our own power structure, our own infrastructure is the only route. It's the only road towards equality. They're not going to give it. We have to take it. We have to build it. We have to be ready to step into these responsibilities and do for our community what this society refuses to do, because it refuses to even acknowledge how racist it is. That's what you're dealing with. Somebody's got a gun to our head and they swear it's not a gun. I love you, Black man. I love you, Black woman. Knowledge is power. Power to the people.
And power to specifically and only Black people. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta give this sister a standing ovation, round of applause, all of that. You know what I'm saying? I thought that this would be common knowledge, and this is why I'm like, okay, good, because now it's not about against anybody or negative anybody. When you really talking about self love, I guess it sounds like you hate somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not one of those people that be like, oh, don't. There's a reason why hatred exists. You know what I'm saying? If for anything to exist, so much is opposite. You know what I'm saying? It's for you to have so much love, there must be some equal level of hate. You know what I'm saying? There, or whatever. And my thing is, Europeans, if they didn't commit so many crimes against humanity, would be irrelevant. Who cares? It's the fact that they commit crimes against humanity. But at the end of the day, who's ever going to change anything until we be like, yo, you know what? Like, this is not, we're going to focus on this. We're going to put the money behind the candidates that we want in the communities that we want to put the candidates in. Because this is what they leave out when they be like, oh, our ancestors was voting and died to vote and all that. Well, they had Black towns where they had Black elected officials making decisions for Black people specifically, and not talking about some for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But I guess I could end it there because she dropped the mic, but we'll just, I guess, give a different demonstration. I guess we could end it this live right now though.
Strategy on the part of some of the Black community to blame the whites and therefore try to change policy. Could be one of the reasons why many in the white community resent the Blacks these days. And it can contribute to the prejudice and be a backlash.
Right, and it goes to the point
Was that meeting that them crackers had the other day? They were saying it's the same thing right here, wasn't it?
That strategy on the part of some of the Black community to blame the whites and therefore try to change policy. Could be one of the reasons why many in the white community resent the Blacks these days. And it can contribute to the prejudice and be a backlash.
Right, and it goes to the point that no one ever responds well to criticism, no matter who you are. Al Capone went to his grave thinking he was a nice guy who was just misunderstood. And in spite of all the evidence of all the dead bodies and everything around him, Al Capone went to his grave believing he was a nice guy that was misunderstood. And what is anyone's reaction when someone comes up and sticks their...
Yeah, you notice how they always bring up a white serial killer, and the serial killer always be white and killed hundreds or thousands or millions of people. In their case, some of them killed millions of people. But it's always, well, people don't like to be called out on their BS, you know what I'm saying? Well, I ain't gonna call out nothing. You come over here, you're gonna get what you're asking for. That's all I'm saying.
in your face and tells you you have a thought.
But whatever, fool.
And are on the civil rights establishment wagon, it makes their lives very comfortable. but it doesn't change anything at all.
What I hear Kurt saying is that there's a lot of resentment among white people because they feel that a lot of black people are shaking their fingers in the faces of white people, blaming white people for all the problems in the black community and not helping themselves. I want to hear responses from other people on this.
Well, I think one important factor is that from my view, in the world of work, white people tend to want everything to be harmonious and calm, and everybody should get along all the time. And my view of black people in the world of work, that they are newcomers and that they say it like it is and they say it loudly. And they complain and they say, I don't like this, you're treating me unfairly. And they're right, but we don't want to hear it. And it's very painful to hear it. So when I try to talk to a black person who I feel is angry at me, I want to defend myself and say, but it's not me.
It's not her.
So
She's one of the good ones.
I think it's pervasive, and it goes on, and then white managers and supervisors kind of back away, and they don't listen because the voices are louder, and the voices are they're unfamiliar to us.
Yeah.
And what you said about how when they complain they're right, that is just what I said. That I thought is my point is it doesn't matter if you are right. Is a very
It doesn't matter if you're right. Like, yeah, I don't care why they are like they are. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Yes, we've done it. I don't care, right? Because it's not about right and wrong. We the only ones that sit up here talking about some damn right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? When the real question is or is not. Do you have it or do you not have it? Can you do it or can't you do it? It's not, oh, is this right or wrong? That's what leads you to get enslaved.
very nebulous thing, and it's not. No one can reach out and touch blame, but we're always shoving it all over the place, and we're always trying to assign it. And like you say, in a situation where a newcomer comes in and they make a lot of noise and they complain and they're right, well, change that. Take away that person's color and race. You get a newcomer comes in anywhere, makes a lot of noise and screams a lot. What do? They're out, and they should be. People, there's
And so you got a newcomer that come in and they're right. What do? You get them the hell out of there. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's saying. He said if you don't shut the hell up, you get your ass up out of there.
Talking about hierarchy. Hierarchies are necessary.
But
in a
here's
lot of
where I
situations.
disagree because they
Okay,
don't
good
know
white
that
bitch.
they're walking into. And if we don't,
I'm sorry, I cut off the good white bitch. Let's hear our solution.
There's, and we're talking about hierarchy. Hierarchies are necessary.
but
in a
here's
lot
where
of
I
situations.
disagree because they don't know the culture that they're walking into.
Mm.
And if we don't,
So you don't know the psychopathic, pedophilic, sick, dirty culture that you are walking into every single day with a bunch of psychopaths. You don't know. Just you've only been surrounded by it for like hundreds of years, but you don't know about this. You know what I'm saying? And they just don't know. You know what I'm saying? This more than hand BS stuff that these liberal left, because I guess they're all they separate themselves into so many things and then blame each other. Well, it's not us that's the ones that Malcolm X was talking about. It's the liberals. No, it's the left. Y'all no, bro. Like it's all of them, bro. I don't get why y'all don't understand this. They like, okay, well, the N-words do all of these things, which we don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do all of this stealing and killing and all of this stuff because they just haven't appropriated into black culture. We need to make it easier for them to submit in whatever that word is when you submit into their culture,
because they don't know the
integrate.
culture they're walking into.
Mm.
If we don't make them a party to that, if we don't share ideas and perceptions, if we don't hear them out and they don't hear us out, how are we're just going to keep getting rid of them.
We're just going,
That's it.
if we don't teach them our savage nature, you know what I'm saying, then we're just going to keep firing them because they're just going to keep complaining. And that's the solution for the good white ones.
I had an experience where I was a contractor at a company in the Twin Cities, and I was cube mates with a black man that they hired. And this guy was running a business on company time. They knew he was. They knew it from the first 2 days he was on the job. They asked me what I knew about it, and I said, nothing. Keep me out of this. I don't see nothing. Figure it out for yourself. I'm not interested in getting into this. And this individual worked here for more than 3 months.
All right. Okay. So y'all want to see the culture that we like this, what we got to learn about? Because I don't know nothing about this culture, but check this out. This is the culture that you must find yourself to, this is what you got to do now.
Yeah, that good? Yeah, that good?
Man, the dog went on first.
Marty, we don't play that. We don't play that.
I love my dog, but damn, bro.
We don't play that now. One more thing, white people, do y'all ever see stuff like this and be like, oh my God?
I don't think so because they all, because then you have,
Let's surprise my neighbors with pop.
Nah, don't scroll. We in this together.
In my signature sugar cookie dough and had my dog Lulu step
What in the Scooby-Doo Paw Patrol you got going on right here?
right on them for that realistic paw print effect. They
You know what else looks realistic? Jail time. Surprise, you going to jail.
baked them in the oven and they turned out so
those them cookies y'all be getting at them Christmas parties y'all be going to. This is the culture you fought to be a part of here. This is what you wanted here. This is
my foot shavings to put
this is what y'all fought to be a part of, I guess.
on your food as Parmesan.
Is that a cheese grater?
Let me tell you something. If she was a part of my family, she wouldn't be the same day.
And saving my foot shavings to put them on your food as Parmesan.
Is that a cheese grater?
I've been saving my foot shavings. I believe it. I don't think that's a skit. But, and it's not funny because they had plagues over this, you know what I'm saying? Where they like died off and stuff, But the problem is, though, the mentality, you know what I'm saying? The savage nature, right? Because look, check this one out, right? And this one kind of pissed me off. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Contacted during the emergency and
Let's
only
see.
learned something were placed in the NICU primarily to grow stronger, improve feeding, and gain weight before going back home. For approximately 6 weeks, the family says both twins were making steady progress. However, on December 5th, 2025, the family said one of the twins, baby Samaria, suddenly passed away. Kenneth, the baby's father, arrived at the hospital for what he believed would be a normal visit, but was denied access and told a sterile procedure was underway. Kenneth says a nurse later acknowledged that the baby had appeared pale earlier, but the concern was not escalated at that time. The family was not contacted during the emergency and only learned something was wrong by being physically present and demanding information. To this day, the family have yet to receive a clear or consistent explanation of what happened, and that verbal accounts from staff do not fully align with what they believe occurred. And repeated attempts to meet calmly with hospital leadership for answers have gone unanswered. Not only that, but there were people who were on the my chart that Kenneth was given that were not actually present that day or for baby Samaria's passing. If that's not bad enough, the family says the situation became even more alarming after their daughter's death. No consent forms were signed authorizing organ removal, and a funeral home had to inform them that when baby Samaria arrived, she arrived without her organs. The family has only just learned this information.
Now, we're going to talk about this more with Cassandra come on here. But basically, man, so these babies was born premature, right? And they were in the hospital. And so one day, the father comes in to visit his babies, as he does every single day, right? But this particular day, they would not let him see his babies, and they wouldn't tell him why. So they tell him, like, oh, well, we have to do some kind of procedure because your baby looked pale, even though their vitals were okay, right? So, and I guess
People of
maybe I
color. They're doing it overseas in Gaza right now. They're constantly getting caught in
could have happened and who
several different countries, illegally stealing body parts.
Also need to highlight.
So, now this baby ended up dying, right? While the father was there, they would not let him see him, right? And the machine going off, and they told, well, there ain't nothing going on. They tried to downplay it or whatnot, right? So then they still wouldn't even let them see the baby after they died. They up there demanding answers and all that stuff, and I'm gonna let the fathers tell the story, But when this baby goes to the mortician, as so many of our babies do, they find out that the baby is missing organs,
Broader pattern in healthcare where Black
I don't
mothers
think I got the right video
Black
anyway,
babies
so
aren't safe.
We know it's them that are stealing body parts of people of color. They're doing it overseas in Gaza right now. They're constantly getting caught in several different countries, illegally harvesting the organs of people that were healthy and then randomly popped up dead. This twin baby was left in the NICU. Her father returned to her being all of a sudden dead, and her organs had been harvested. They lied to this baby's mother and father for a long time and said that they could not locate her body while they were harvesting the baby's organs. This happened in a hospital in Texas. So while y'all are allowing that girl, Han, whatever her name is, to lead y'all down a path of, oh yeah, my issue isn't with Jasmine Crockett because she's dark skinned Black, and I really hate.
And I want to play the father of this, because I didn't want to take it off no other subject,
3%. That was all they was using. Friday I go to visit them. We go every day. We've been here day in, day out. Like we know everything about them. Like
my bad, y'all. I can't rewind it, so I'm gonna let him start from the beginning.
born prematurely, no health conditions at all. They've been breathing 21% oxygen since they was born. The oxygen machine that they've been on to help them keep the lungs open been like 3%. That was all they was using. Friday I go to visit them. We go every day. We've been here day in, day out. Like we know everything about them. Like as far as we've been following, keeping in check with the doctor. They switched doctors this week. The doctors and the nurse practitioners that have been working with our child wasn't working with our child like this week at all. So we had this new doctor come in. I tried to go visit, and they told me I had to stand outside. And I was like, what am I standing outside for? They said they're doing a sterile procedure. I said, what's the sterile procedure? Because no one has called to notify me and my family. They asked me to just be patient and be calm down. I need to calm down. I was like, I am being calm.
Because they're keeping you from seeing your twin babies.
Yeah, but the woman was talking about one baby. So I said, okay, well, I have two. I should be able to see the other one. She said, no. The nurses and them are doing something. I said, well, you need to send someone out here to give me a better explanation because no one's called to notify me and the mother. So 10 minutes go by, she come out and she was like, Dad, your baby had a upset stomach earlier, and when I went to her bedside at 8 o'clock, I noticed that she did kind of seem pale. She was pale, but the vitals seemed okay to me. She said at 11:30, I went to check again. At 11:30, I also noticed that she was pale again. She said, so I then notified my superiors. I asked her, I said, this nurse name is Blanca P. The nurse that was working on my child at the time, her name is Blanca P. She said she came in and this is how she found her. So I asked her, what changed at 11:30 that made you go notify your superiors if you had the same symptoms and the same signs at 8 o'clock? She said, well, I've been a mother at the NICU, so she said, I didn't think that was alarm. I said, how is a pale baby not a sign of an emergency? How is a pale baby not a sign of an alarm? She said, well, I think I made the right decision as far as what I decided to go tell my superior. I said, you don't get paid to think. So she said, I need to call my boss. So the lady came, which is Sandra Simpson. Sandra Simpson came in. I asked her numerous of questions. Every question I asked her, she deflected on. She kept telling me, any more questions, any more questions. I asked her about the oxygen level, why did the oxygen level was so high. I asked her,
Did you know at this point your baby had passed?
I kind of just prepared, like God showed me already what was going on, and I was just trying to just stay strong, but pay attention. When the machine started going off for my daughter code and they silenced the machine while I was sitting there,
Man, my brother said God showed me what's going on. You know, and I don't want to cut him off because this one, like, yo, pissed me off, you know? And I ain't even trying to be cold on a lot of this stuff, but, you know, let me just keep playing it, man.
asked the nurse, I said, ma'am, why is that machine blinking and why is it not making sound? She said, I silenced it. I said, why you silenced it? She said, I silenced it because they're at her bedside working on her already, so I'm just standing here looking. But at the time she was coding. When she was coding, they told us that me and the grandmother would have to move to the side and get out the way. I asked her why we have to leave out. Like, we're not leaving, we're not going nowhere. So we stepped to the side. In the midst of that, they started intubating my child and stuff. I asked her, we haven't got none of this permission, and they was trying to cover it up. In the midst of that, I left to go get the mom so the mom could see my child before everything kind of went bad. The nurse was like, hey, I think this is how mom should be here. We had twins. We had beautiful girl twins that was born prematurely, no health issues at all. They've been breathing 21% oxygen.
Right. So, you know, he didn't even get to the part where, you know, the baby's organs is straight missing, you know? And listen, I'm not even gonna say nothing right here because, like, listen, you already know, like, you know, let's just go to the next thing, man. Because we'll talk about this more when, you know, Cassandra come back, you know. But I also want to show you this, you know, with the sister here, right? Because, like, yo, self protection is you just granted that, you know, like nobody has to give you permission for none of this, you know. But also, man, just be careful out there, you know.
Circle K employee loses it behind the counter, turning a rewards point question into a haymaking frenzy. Tonight, the blow-up leads to serious charges and more. And to add insult to literal injury, the customer in that Bowling Green Circle K was pregnant.
Now the victim has filed a lawsuit in federal court naming the now former clerk and the company. And tonight, she and her attorney are speaking out. It's a story you will only see here. And 13 Action News reporter Alexis Means joins us live with this story, all new at 6.
Well, I can tell you that this happened in May. The family was traveling from South Carolina to Detroit and making a routine stop for gas, a pit stop that turned violent. Store surveillance video released to 13 Action News by the victim's lawyer shows the former clerk, Shannon Walsh, throwing items at the customer. Then she comes from behind the counter and attacks the woman. Deria Francis Stukes says the assault caused her to lose her baby.
And then losing a child, whether it was a full-blown baby or just a small fetus, you know, you still lost a child. And the way it happened, it was really, you know, traumatizing.
And the crazy thing is, she still beat her up, even though she got attacked. She still ended up beating her up, you know. But you know, this sister was pregnant, and I can hear y'all now. You know, well, she shouldn't have did this. She shouldn't have did this. And this is the issue. Like, man, like we gonna see, man.
It was really, you know, traumatizing.
The 40-year-old woman says she was 8 weeks pregnant when the clerk attacked her. She says she asked Walsh to cancel her transaction so she could use her Circle K fuel rewards to save money on gas.
She went on about why she couldn't cancel it. She was like, well, you're not going to get your money back right away. I wasn't concerned about that. I was like, that's okay. I have other money on the card. You know, she was like, well, it's going to be on me if the money don't come back. I was looking at her like, it just didn't make sense to me.
And that's when she says the clerk went off.
And I'm like, well, why are you being so nasty to me? And she said something racial to her friend and then said something to a Caucasian male that was standing in front of her who was in line.
Walsh was seen hurling items at the woman and grabbing her. The victim's 2 sons saw their mom being attacked.
They didn't know what to do. And I had to.
No, you notice ain't nobody step in, ain't nobody stop it, ain't nobody do nothing when she's being attacked. Her son, you can see her son like right here and all of this stuff, you know. And listen, man,
Tell my son to go get my husband. Like while I'm trying to defend myself, my older boy, my 13-year-old, I'm like, go get your dad.
Bowling Green police arrested Walsh, a 28-year-old from North Baltimore. In May, she was charged with assault. She pleaded no contest and was found guilty. Fast forward to this past Monday.
this white bitch already a thug, got a record now. I don't know, y'all probably, oh, was the black woman loud? What's she doing? What did she do? Now this thug white bitch here then is a damn psychopath, you know what I'm saying? She's practicing European culture. And the sister is sitting there trying to talk to her, and you can't. This is what I'm saying. And we all got people that we love that could be out there, you know what I'm saying? Like a person that I love might be out there like, listen, I want to cancel it because I want to do this to save money on my card, and end up in a situation like that where it could go any kind of way, especially depending on where you are, and especially if you're traveling where you are in the country, because you can't just go anywhere. But we need some kind of defense against that kind of stuff, right? Oh man.
When a lawsuit was filed in federal court, it accuses the gas station, the clerk, and its parent company of negligence and assault.
Basically, our perspective is that the employee never should have been hired. The employee was not adequately supervised. The conduct of the employee was
still lost.
racist, and it was criminal.
I'm the store manager, and none of that should have happened.
The victim says Walsh used racial slurs.
How am I an animal and I didn't put my hands on nobody until I had to defend myself?
13 Action News reached out to Shannon Walsh and Circle K, but they have
Still
yet
tore her ass up.
comment. And I'm told the victim's sons are in counseling because they witnessed
Ain't
their
that
mother
something? And she still whooped her ass. Right, but the sister was pregnant, you know what I'm saying? And you seen the she man, I'm just saying, man. Right, because you see ain't nobody break it up, but I mean, let's check this out here, man.
Right. Sir, can you call into a physical one? And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna insert the video here, which is about 1.5 minutes long, and we'll go from there with the commentary. Right now. I'm calling him right now. He spit on me and I beat his ass.
I don't think you are.
You want to call him? I got all y'all on camera. You want to call him? You want to tell him what happened? My name is David McDonald. I'm an Amazon delivery driver. I'm here on West Hill and North Madison Street. I'm delivering. No, I'm talking. What? I'm recording for my safety.
You're not calling the police.
Because I'm recording and documenting. Why y'all not calling the police?
I have a phone on you.
Right. Sir, can you call the police? No? Okay, that's what I thought. Anybody want to call the police? Nobody. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
Tore his ass up.
What's your name? How do you know? You his neighbor?
He doesn't
No, how do you know? How do you know?
You are a professional.
He spit on me. I don't give a fuck about this job. He spit on me.
Now, do you see the on the code? Yeah, like we'll get mad, but like, oh, how could you? You see, right? And he told you it's not about right and wrong. Okay, you're right. So what? What do we do when somebody is loud and complaining? We get rid of them, you know? But it doesn't matter what the hell they do, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not about right and wrong with them, right? You need to stop sitting there trying to explain yourself. And yeah, if this was a moral debate and all of this stuff, it was based off morality and debating, we would crush them all day long, right? Logic and reason and all that stuff, you would crush them. But it's not about none of that, you know what I'm saying? It's the mentality of they walk over there and they don't give a damn what the white boy did to get his ass whooped. And he called you N word, so what? I call people N words all the time. You can't put your hands on him. You're an N word. You can't defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? But when we see sister or something, like, you know what, would be like, well, was she loud? Why is she fighting back? She's in the store doing this and that. You ain't gonna sit there and be like, hey, don't touch her and break it up and all that stuff. You only start breaking it up when they start leaking, right? But the problem is, why are we not intervening before it gets to that? The black people, that's once we got to start doing that for each other. You know what I'm saying?
I have so many other ways to make money. I don't give a fuck about this job.
I guess
I care about my self-respect and my dignity. I beat your ass because you spit on me, you bitch ass nigga.
Why don't you get on your bike?
Yeah, and slide the fuck up out of here. Don't spit on me again. Watch what you do. You don't know who I am or what I got going on. Don't spit on me. No, fuck all that. That's the utmost disrespect.
No.
I would have called my sister to beat her ass. If it was a woman, I would have waited here until my sister got here to beat.
Now, the white bitch said, if it was a white bitch, what would have you done? Did the white bitch spit on me? That's the question.
Her ass, yes. That's where I come from. Y'all don't know me. Whatever. I bet God wouldn't have tolerated it.
You need God.
And I beat your ass. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Have a great day. I bet he need to have more self-respect and some more self-control. Keep condoning that racist ass bullshit. Whatever.
He needs God. Or the European God, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say which one it is. I'm just going to say it's the one that black people worship.
So y'all just saw that.
All right. So the brother left him leaking, you know? But do you see, like, that's how you intervene in situations, right? Like, I'm not even going to be mad at them for being on code like they're supposed to be. All right. The question is, are we going to ever learn to do this?
Was an Amazon. He is I don't know what happened with his job, if there were any type of repercussion, but he's an Amazon delivery guy.
So this brother ended up getting fired or something like that, right? And I hope she says it. I think she says it, but yeah, I think she
He
does.
said that he's usually in this neighborhood, that all of the neighbors know him. So pretty much like they'll leave out treats for him. You know, he's like very nice. Like that's how you know, if you look in a far distance, you'll see another person standing there. Nobody was actually coming to the aid of that man except for those two people, the other clears that was just walking by, and they don't really know what happened on the backstory. They just see a clear guy leaking as he deserved to be leaking. Spitting on somebody is actually assault. And that is the worst thing that you could do. It is so disrespectful to hop to on somebody in their face. And y'all looked in the video, I pointed it out. He literally still had a guap of spit on his face. It was even in his beard. So basically what he said happened was that he was delivering packages. He stopped his truck, and the cyclist, the pale face on a cycle, was riding by and got mad because he thought like the guy was going to hit him or something. But he was like, I was literally completely at a full stop, and I inched up a little bit because I couldn't see because it was like trees or something obstructing his view. So then he said he was just like, whatever. He didn't think nothing of it. The guy was like mad, angry, or whatever. So he got out and proceeded to cross the street, you know, with the packages in tow to deliver the packages. And the guy came back. I don't know if he left or whatever the case may be, but he was still in the vicinity, started hurling the N-word at him. Oh, F you nigger. Y'all already know. Same old two-step. And then the dude said he started cussing him out back. I don't know exactly what he said, but he cussed him out back and then proceeded to like walk back to his truck to get in his truck. And the pale-faced monster grabbed his arm and spit in his face. And then he said after that, he just wowed out and started, you know, pummeling the guy after he did that to him. He was calling him the N-word. He was letting all of that slide. But once you physically, you assaulted me. And your saliva could have all types of bacteria, nasty. You already know they be licking dogs' ass and doing all types of nasty stuff. So we don't know what he got going on in his mouth. So then
Yeah, I already showed you. Look, this is what they got going on. This is what.
Yeah, that good?
That's what's going on. So she's not lying when she says that.
Of course, the other pale-faced sun-dodging monsters gonna come to his defense, not even knowing the backstory, talking about, oh, that's not okay. He doesn't have a job. You're gonna get fired. No, that man needs to get sued, a civil lawsuit, and he also needs to be arrested and charged with assault and battery.
You go to jail.
Period.
Yeah.
And we need to have a hate crime bill. Because I'm sorry, you yelling racial slurs and you're attacking me solely because of the color of my skin. How is it that we don't need a hate crime bill? What?
Now, let me say this, right? Because I hear black people be saying this hate crime bill, right? There's only one answer, right? Asking them to make a law against themselves to enforce against themselves for you, which they never gonna do. Not only does it usually not work out, most times they use it to backfire against you, right? Like, well, you do all of these things, right? They like to file under, like, for instance, like this, what is really going on here, right? So Trump and them is encouraging white dudes to file civil rights claims, right? It's just like I'll tell you about the 13, 14, 15, the business amendments and all that stuff, and how corporations actually use that to get personhood. Like, corporations are persons, you know what I'm saying? And they have actually used the law, quote unquote, for black people way more than black people have, right? And usually what Europeans do, they're just psychopaths, They take that hate crime bill, never enforce it for you in the situation because they be like, oh, well, it's not related. He said the N word 82 times, but it's no proof that it was a hate crime. You know what I'm saying? They like to play that kind of game, right? But then they turn around and use these same laws against us. And it's irrelevant. They do what they want to do. Why does their court hold so much power? Because a bunch of dudes be standing there with guns that'll shoot you if you even make a move. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're afraid of. Their guns, But
Put their ears on tilt. What are you trying to do? Let's take a look at this. And of course, I will be right back.
Are you a white male who's experienced discrimination at work based on your race or sex? You may have a claim to recover money under federal civil rights laws. Contact the EOC as soon as possible. Time limits are typically strict for filing a claim. The EOC is the federal agency charged with enforcing federal anti-discrimination law against businesses and other private sector employers. The EOC is committed to identifying, attacking, and eliminating all forms of race and sex discrimination, including against white male applicants and employees. Check out eoc.gov to learn.
And you know what's crazy? This white bitch is so dumb that she don't realize she's taking a white male's job too, right? She's supposed to be barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen. Now she probably can't do the pregnant part, right? And she got the Neanderthal look right here, so she definitely got that gene. Now the pregnant part is the issue they having, right? But that's the crazy part. Like, she should be at home barefoot and pregnant. Like, what the hell? So she's taking a white dude's job. So I don't know what she's talking about.
More and read our one-page explainer about DEI-related discrimination.
Okay, as you all heard, this was specifically aimed at white men who believe that they are being discriminated against. All of this is a part of a bigger, broader plan that was actually outlined in that document that a lot of people were opposing while Trump was running. And so now we see what's really going on. Something even deeper than what you see on the surface is happening. And most people won't get it. They won't tie it to biblical prophecy because that is not what they do. They are really trying to create this narrative and this very divisive rhetoric that something is happening that is not happening. But this is all a part of the greater plan. The Most High is revealing the man of sin. The Most High is revealing the man of lawlessness. Now, keep in mind that they're now trying to push the narrative that there is this great discrimination happening against white males when they still have not even fixed or focused on or repaired the civil rights discrimination against so-called Black people, who are the face behind why the civil rights era was birthed in the first place. They still haven't fixed that or addressed it, but now they're trying to apply civil rights claims to everyone else but to the people who were harmed by it the most, right? So now I want you to take a listen, a deeper listen at this. There are reasons why this is happening, and from a biblical standpoint, we need to understand this and not be so reactionary, okay? But the way we need to respond, which I've been saying this lately, is we've got to learn how to go before the courts of heaven, because going before the courts here in this country.
Wait. Now, I let a lot of that stuff go, right? But and there's no disrespect to this sister, right? Because the white bitch said, oh, the brother needed God, but how we deal for this is go before the courts of heaven. Like, what are we supposed to die first before we deal with this? Right? Like, okay, like, see, this is the part of it that I cannot get with. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can believe whatever they believe in, but once it starts to hinder you to where you won't do anything until maybe that's not what they're saying, right? But in the words of my good brother MD2, who was on here last time, God probably doesn't even know why we sitting here waiting. He get up there like, yo, God, like, yo, why did you not do nothing? I was like, oh, I was waiting to go before the courts of heaven, you know? And he was like, why? I don't even know that. I know everything. I don't even know why you waited to come before the courts of. No, I gave you everything that you needed if this existed. I gave you everything that you needed right then and there to do what you got to do. But it's the mentality of us to be like, well, we know we can't get justice for them. All we can do is just pray and hope about it. Nah, like you got to take matters into your own hands, right? If whatever you're praying to ain't giving you the inspiration to take matters into your own hands, then that's the part where I be having the problem with. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I don't believe in it and I'm not taking action for myself, right? I still would have a problem with what I believe in. Anyway, I don't know, man.
I shall be saved, right? On our behalf.
Probably not.
Take a listen at this, and I will be right back.
The Trump administration's public call for white men to file workplace discrimination claims. In December 2025, the Trump administration took an unusually direct and highly public step in its broader campaign against diversity, equity, and...
Did y'all ever think about this? Maybe God sent Trump here to make you be like, oh, damn, I got to do something to put the inspiration into you to be woke, and be proud to be woke. Now, all of a sudden, everybody is friends and all of this stuff. But for some reason, we all are super aware. Now we all angry. Did you ever, maybe that was your prayers answered? Did you ever think about that? Right? Maybe that was the verdict. Did you ever think about that? I don't know. I got a call. I might have got messed up. I don't know.
Inclusion DEI initiatives. The moment came when Andrea Lucas, chair of the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, issued a message on X, formerly Twitter, explicitly urging white men who believe they have experienced discrimination at work to file civil rights claims with the agency. Her message was unambiguous. Are you a white male who has experienced discrimination at work based on your race or sex? You may have a claim to recover money under federal civil rights laws. This public call to action marked a significant escalation in the administration's stated effort to challenge what it describes as unlawful or woke DI practices in workplaces across the country. According to reporting, the EEOC framed this outreach as part of its commitment to enforce civil rights protections for all groups, including white male employees. A demographic the administration argues has increasingly faced reverse discrimination in modern corporate environments. News outlets noted that this messaging did not emerge in isolation. It aligned closely with the administration's broader policy agenda. Reports describe how President Donald Trump's second term included a series of executive orders dismantling DEI programs across federal agencies and federal contractors, replacing them with what the White House called merit-based opportunity frameworks. These orders reversed earlier affirmative action style requirements and directed agencies to eliminate race-based preferences while still upholding federal civil rights laws. The EEOC's public appeal was widely interpreted as a continuation of this ideological shift. Newsweek reported that the administration was actively encouraging white men who felt disadvantaged by DEI-driven policies to come forward and seek compensation under existing civil rights statutes. USA Today described the announcement as the latest escalation. In the administration's efforts to identify and challenge workplace practices it views as discriminatory toward white male workers. The messaging also intersected with political rhetoric from senior officials. Vice President J.D. Vance publicly amplified the EEOC's call, arguing that DEI initiatives constitute a deliberate program of discrimination primarily against white men.
One point that I wanted to make here real quick is that they're encouraging them to step forward to get financial compensation for what they believe to be discrimination. They're encouraging them to come forward. Now, I know for a fact that I have been discriminated against many times when I was in the workplace, right? In the workforce. Now, I don't see that there is a call for so-called Black people or any other group to come forward and file their claims when we know for a fact the so-called Black people have been hit with discrimination time and time again for a very long time. But there was never a call from the government for us to come forward and file claims for financial compensation.
And you know what's interesting about that? I don't see. Well, maybe it probably is some Benedict Arnold, whatever that. What was that? I forgot the name of the dude, but some sellouts for them that would be like, "Oh, you ain't never gonna get it." But for the most part, I'm not gonna be seeing a bunch of voices amplified talking about, "Oh, you never gonna get reparated. You need to stop talking about this and stop asking for this and don't take this and that. Don't go for this." They gonna go out there and take whatever they is. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, why would they amplify that? But you see how they they went quickly to turn it into a economic thing, you know what I'm saying, where it's some kind of power, some kind of leverage, you know what I'm saying, something that you make changes with, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, let's just keep going, you know, because the problem is history is just repeating itself, because I've been saying all of this before. Like, anyway, man, so let's go with more history repeating itself. So when you actually do defend yourself after you get whatever and you see the brother got fired, you know what I'm saying, but we got a right to defend ourselves, you know what I'm saying.
Concealed carry instructor.
At the Eagle Gun Range in suburban Oak Forest, almost every seat is filled.
The best way for you to learn is to ask your questions.
The class cost $140. It's another $153 to the state to buy the coveted Conceal and Carry license, the CCL, giving the legal right to carry a gun.
And if stopped by law enforcement for any reason, if they ask if you have any weapons in the vehicle, answer honestly.
Lewis McWilliams took a class like this, passed it, got his CCL, and bought this 9mm pistol.
How you doing, boss? Good.
So last April, when Lewis was pulled over for a traffic violation, he did exactly what he'd learned in class.
You're legit. You bought the gun legally. Answer honestly.
Okay, where's your firearm? On my side. Okay, you got your concealed carry license?
I played by the book. I did things the right way.
And it didn't matter. Even though Lewis handed officers his
Should
valid
have won before the
CCL
courts of heaven.
find it in the state's computer, they did this. He was
Right now, you about to go to this court, fool.
After months in and out of court, prosecutors who initially signed off on the false charges eventually determined Lewis's CCL was valid, so they dropped them. This was little consolation to Lewis.
No matter how much you follow a system of which they create, they can still deem you wrong.
Lewis is among the black gun owners CBS News Chicago investigators discovered who had valid CCLs.
I am concealed and carry.
But were still charged.
Just watch your head.
Only to have their cases dismissed.
Who brought their gun with them today?
How often have innocent gun owners faced charges that were ultimately dropped? It's a question we can't answer because neither the Cook County State's Attorney's Office nor Chicago Police track the cases. Lewis is now taking.
We have no idea how many. We don't even track them. So when they be talking about all these statistics and stuff, they don't even be tracking them in the first place. Ain't that something? Who would have knew?
Earned the right more than anybody in this country to carry a firearm. We fought for this country when we weren't even citizens.
Phil Smith is the president.
Who fought us? We be saying that like we proud. We fought for this country. We wanted when we were slaves. Like what the? Why? Why would we do that? Why are we still trying to do that? Why don't we put that same energy in trying to fight for ourselves and build our own institution? Because we know going to their damn hospitals is crazy. We know that there's discriminations and such thing. Why aren't we putting the energy into building a sustainable self-protective mechanism, right? That'll issue consequences, right? I don't care if it's a god or if it's a genie or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Where you did this, here's this consequence. Even if it just be in the middle of the night, nobody do nothing, you just have a stroke or whatever, you know, whatever. Then we talking. Until then, you know what I'm saying? Why are we sitting here bragging about fighting for the people who then use your bloodshed as a means of like financial wealth?
American Gun Association and says others should follow Lewis's lead.
File a lawsuit and follow through on the lawsuit. If a police chief has 4 or 5 lawsuits, $4 or $5 million, they're going to get a call from somebody to say, hey, start treating those people differently.
We're going to have to make some changes.
Our investigation also caught the attention of Illinois Representative Jehan Gordon Booth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
She represents downstate Peoria and has championed a groundbreaking bill.
The work represented in the measure gives me great pride.
It offers certain offenders with nonviolent criminal records a chance to have their cases automatically sealed, removing them from public view. But in the cases of the drivers we featured, they never should have had criminal records. They were dealt a major injustice.
You know what? I let that slide because I wasn't even gonna say nothing. But okay, my brother in the background. My bad. Yo, what up, my brother?
Hey, what's up, forecast?
Not much, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. Just chilling. I've been listening at the show, man. You know, off and on. I had a little company. My little lady friend was over, man. So she gone now. But yeah. You know, we've been kicking it there. Yeah, but I was going back and forth listening at the show and everything, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I shared on my Facebook and IG. Yeah. It was some of my friends over there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to say about anything you saw before, or you just want to keep going?
No, if I can, just for a minute, man.
Yeah, do your thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was still on when the sister was talking, about what she was talking about, and then they came up there in the courts of heaven.
Oh yeah. The sister talking about go to the courts of heaven.
Yeah, talking about it in the courts of heaven. I was just like, man, you know what, forecast it all. When I hear things like that, I've even heard my mama say stuff like that. Like when something happens, to us as people, man, like a brother get killed by the police or whatever, some shit happened at the hand of these hunkies. My mom would just say, well, son, just leave it up to God. You know what I'm saying? And
Well,
that's
it's
the same
taking a
thing.
mighty long time. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I told my mom, I said, Mama, that God you praying to don't like you or me. You know what I'm saying? He don't like you or me. He said, because after all of this stuff that happened, he was watching then and he ain't did nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I just say, like, forecast, it goes back to that whole thing in the black mind, in the mind of black people everywhere, not just us black people here in this country, but around the world, man. That feeling of powerlessness, especially, being, with these devils being in power, and running shit, for the economics, the politics, and everything, of the world of the world of today. You know what I'm saying? It's like a feeling of powerlessness, and I'm just saying, like, so what we do, we turn to religion. Just think about when we was enslaved in during the slavery period. A lot of our people, except for those ones who said, hey man, you know what? Like what Malcolm said, anything is better than this, any place is better than this, I'm gonna take my chances. For the rest of our people who were just beat down bad and just couldn't see no tomorrow, and just like, well, I gotta find the best way to cope with it. You know what I'm saying? We turn to that religion, and to that spookism and stuff like, you talk about the spookism. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully one day this old mystery God, this God that these white folks gave us, might have a change of heart and and find it in his way to tell them to let us go. To free us and to leave us alone, to stop treating us like that. You know what I'm saying? And instead of saying fuck it, freedom or death, instead of doing what the brothers and sisters did in Haiti, you know what I'm saying? Instead of doing what brothers and sisters did everywhere, in other places, what Nat Turner them did, in those brothers and sisters, our ancestors who said, fuck it, it's freedom or death. I don't give a damn, you can kill me, but I'd rather die a free man than live a slave. And so, in that stuff, that's why I was talking about the menticide thing. Right now, today, a lot of our people, even though some are waking up, but a lot of people like, it's just too many. The white folks, they outnumbers. They just too powerful. They just too this and that. You know what I'm saying? And the only way that things gonna change for us is, we got to leave it up to God. You know what I'm saying? Or like you said, if we gonna be free, we got to die first and go to heaven. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing that it ain't no motherfucking heaven. You know what I'm saying? The only heaven you gonna get is the one you make. What I'm saying is, so we just got to get off of that shit there, man. And I think a lot of our people, they genuinely scared. You know what I'm saying? They genuinely believe in that shit. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us just some motherfucking cowards. You know what I'm saying? We just some goddamn cowards and scared to fight. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker, look at what you got to lose. You know what I'm saying? What you got to lose? Hey, you say you believe in the afterlife and it's gonna be greater later. Well, fuck it, then. Let's go on and see. You know what I'm saying? But so it's just like, I'm just saying, it's just that, that type of bullshit right there. That religious thing was used to keep us in a mindset of mental slavery, man. That's what it was, man. I ain't gonna go too long, man. I'm gonna knock off and let you continue with the program, man. I just wanted to address that real quick.
No, I agree with you, and I want to see how black you like. Let us touch your blackness, bro. Like, you go to black church, be like, God is good. What you supposed to say?
My mama always said God is good all the time. All the time,
And
God
all
is
the time,
good.
and all the time, God is good. Uh, but no, I agree with what you're saying, right? And see, this is why we on the thing where the licensed black gun owners right here is being wrongfully arrested, right? And here they're saying, well, we can't even track how many of them is getting arrested, because they don't even keep that record. You know how they like to always be like, well, the data says this and that, but we know how they do with the data, right? But this sister here is a politician who's trying to do something here. And I was gonna let this part slide because she's at least a sister who saw something and is trying to do something. But the news lady brought it up. So let me see.
Championed a groundbreaking bill.
The work represented in the measure gives me great pride.
It offers certain offenders with nonviolent criminal records a chance to have their cases automatically sealed, removing them from public view. But in the cases of the drivers we featured, they never should have had criminal records. They were dealt a major injustice.
See, this is what I was gonna let it slide, right? But she brought it up. 'Cause they shouldn't have the criminal records in the first place, right? Like, see, we always gonna be like settle for less. And in any other context, we could understand, right? But in the overall context, we don't. If this was your friend settling for like some dude that beat her ass all the time and all this other stuff, and he didn't damn near killed her, but he like, well, next time I won't hit you but 3 times. And we like, well, he said, girl, he ain't gonna hit me as hard. He only hit me with 25% power. Well, you would be like, yo, you're crazy. But us, we like, well, if I just loved them, and as my brother was saying, wait until we get to heaven, and God is going to sort all of this out. But either he's taking a long time to get the message, he doesn't like you, or he just don't know what's going on, right? So I don't know. Let's
Oh
see.
my God, y'all are so bogus.
Like Lewis, Lucy Washington faced a felony she didn't deserve. In this mugshot, stayed on her record long after the charges were dismissed, nearly wrecking her real estate career.
My mugshot showed up on Google right next to my property address. That was an embarrassing moment. And around that time, I did end up losing out on the deal.
All of this because of illegal everything.
If I was innocent from the beginning, why would I have to go and clean and expunge a record?
We're now talking about individuals.
And you got something to say, my brother?
Oh no, go ahead, man. I'm just checking it out.
All right. And just speaking of the policies and stuff like that, let's play this part, right? Because this is the
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that in very many ways we've been talking.
now this white bitch here be making rules and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? As far as the education system. And I showed before when whatever that fat dude name was, Bannon. He was saying like, yo, what we got to do is attack the school system. And I showed you even before when they shot the propaganda, they was like, yo, what you want to do is like attack the school system for like 15 years, because by then you have a whole generation that from pre-K all the way to graduation that has been indoctrinated with your programming, with the next class all already coming up. And this is going to be the next work class, the next workforce, and all of this stuff, And the dude Ben and was like, we gonna and this was like 2016. That's like one of the first things I was talking about on here when I was showing it, he was sitting there like, yo, we gonna attack the schools and stuff like that, which again, I don't understand why it took for this to get mad, because if we look at I went to Richmond Public Schools, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I don't know, I ain't know shit, you know what I'm saying? I only know Black history because I got curious, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know who Ida B. Wells was. I can't tell you where certain things at on the map. You look at the books that we got, they was like from like 1992, and I'm in school, and let's say I'm in 8th grade or like 6th grade in like 98 or something, and his books from like 91, 92. They ain't even got the current president in the books, you know what I'm saying? But this is the education bitch here.
Talking around a lot of the issues with this administration. So to be honest and to be very clear, I want to say that this administration has undoubtedly revived the culture of racism we haven't seen since the Jim Crow era. They've made it clear that open attacks on Black and brown and other marginalized communities is not just tolerated, but it's encouraged. So when they call for removing of equity and inclusion and diversity and accessibility,
because the what's you call it crack thing, that whole thing, and the super predators, all that stuff ain't happened, I guess.
from schools in favor of quote unquote traditional American values, it's indistinguishable from post-Civil War South advocating to rewrite history with the lost cause narrative to censor truths about slavery, or as they disappear students who write dissenting op-eds. It's reminiscent of the suppression of abolitionist newspapers. And this department's financial aid policies harken back to a time when higher education was reserved for affluent, well-connected, and predominantly white students. So I have a question.
2004? What is it?
Why this
Like, what
department
time is she talking about?
from Jim Crow. Secretary McCain claimed that you want to drastically reduce the already very small federal role in education, and also that you will not cut Title I-A funding. That is still your position, correct?
Yo, my brother Anthony, you remember this. I want you to remember this. George Bush don't like black people.
Hey, let me say something real quick.
Yeah.
See now, right there. That's why. Okay, that's why. Well, me and you, we know this. We know how the game go. You know what I'm saying? You know, you put a sister or a brother, a black brother or sister, in front of a microphone, you know, in the Congress or whatever, you know, saying the things that like what the sister's saying right there. And you know, if you don't know no better, you think, well, oh yeah, you know, that sister, you know, she's for the people. That's, you know what I'm saying? She's for us. What I'm saying, but when you know better, you know that she's really caping for the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? It's really caping for the first thing she said was how this government, you know, which is the Republicans with Mr. Trump and all of that group, you know what I'm saying? It's really she's talking about him and the Republican Party, you know, and how what they are doing, they turning back the clock. But like you said, damn, George Bush hate black people. You know what I'm saying? And damn, like you said, the crack epidemic, the massive incarceration, the super predators, all this shit that happened. You know what I'm saying? Richard Nixon did happen. You know what I'm saying? All of this shit was after the Jim Crow era. You know what I'm saying?
JFK, racist
yeah,
ass.
Hey, JFK was a racist, even though America tried to put on that face like they wouldn't or whatever. LBJ, he was a goddamn racist. You know what I'm saying? Even though Negroes kiss his ass on somebody when he passed civil rights legislation, man, come on. You know, like Brother Dale Jones said, white folks tighten up, white folks loosen up to get a tighter grip. You know what I'm saying?
I would say this. Oh,
go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Yeah, but all I'm just saying, man, yeah, you know, if you don't know no better, people can say certain things, and you know, you sound like, well, that sounds great, man. I like this sister. More power to this sister. And you thinking that she really for her, but really, she came for the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? It's going back to what you said earlier about the lesser of two evils. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I just want to interject. I want to interject because a lot of people, you know, when you ain't educated enough, you know, as far as educated as far as in blackness and black consciousness, you will fall for shit like that. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, even damn, I forgot what I was about to say just now, but it'll come back to me in a second.
Thank you. I'd like a yes or no answer. Do you believe your April 3rd attempt to revoke Title I-A funding from states unless they signed a certification of compliance with your?
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You know, the one time where I could be like, in the modern times where black people, I give all of us a pass to be fool. Like, I didn't vote for Obama the first time he ran for president, and to be fair, like, looking back, I probably would have, just for the culture. Like, the second time I would have, but I wouldn't have. But the first time I probably should have for the culture, you know. But I just didn't, because I already kind of was like, it just didn't make sense. Like, every time Democrats get in there and they never do anything, like, my mom would be like, well, the Republicans, like, wouldn't let them do anything. And then when the Republicans in, they'd be like, the Democrats wouldn't let. But yeah, they're using like both sides, like, once you like kind of realize it. But like, at that point, it's like, Obama probably would like, okay, I can see how we got tricked with Obama. You know what I'm saying? That would be a good trick that might can work one time. You know what I'm saying? So like that particular one, that was the first election that I was ever able to vote for. And I didn't vote for the president at all in that one. But I probably should have, to be honest with you, you know. But I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, yeah. I dig where you're coming from on that, man. I dig, and we all was on the Obama Kool-Aid back then. You know what I'm saying? We was all on the Kool-Aid. If he wanted to, he could have laid there and he could have laid there and slipped the Kool-Aid in our water and killed all of us. You know what I'm saying?
He kind of did.
We was all on this shit. And that was the agenda. To kill us mentally. You know what I'm saying? Not physically necessarily, but to kill us in our mind, to make us think, oh, racism over with now. You know what I'm saying? It's a level playing field now. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, those motherfuckers loosen up to get a tighter grip. You know what I'm saying? To put you even further into this kind of mindset of thinking that, oh man, this is a chance, man. I really can make it here in America. Yeah, you could make money if you sell your people out, if you sell your principles out. You could make money. You could do that. The individual route. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying nothing wrong with individualism as far as you and me as two brothers trying to go out and make money and make a living for ourselves and provide a future for our family. Ain't nothing wrong with that part of individualism. But I'm saying when you put it over the interests of your people, when you say fuck black people, when you become Michael Jordan, you know what I'm saying? In the hell with us, and ain't doing nothing. I mean, when a brother gets shot, you donate $1 million to civil rights or Black Lives Matter and the police. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you got a mindset like that. So I mean, I'm saying that kind of individualism. I'm OJ. I ain't black. No, I'm Jordan. I ain't black. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, yeah, it's good to do for your family, but I mean, at the end of the day, we got to move as a nation of people, man. As a black nation of people here in this country and around the world, we got to move together if we gonna get to where we need to be at. That's all I wanted to say, man.
Yeah. I'm a Democrat. I ain't black.
Your April 3rd attempt to revoke Title 1A funding from states unless they signed the certification of compliance with your political viewpoint was consistent with giving states more control over education.
There's been no reduction in funding for Title 1A.
As of now, there has not been yet. But again,
and it is not going forward in the budget.
So you believe okay. Yes or no? Is Title 1A funding actually secure for every school district and state that currently receives it? Or is your goal to make Title 1A conditional on states refusing to provide students of color, LGBTQA students with disabilities, or other marginalized students opportunities to participate in diverse, inclusive, equitable, and accessible learning environments?
So like retarded white,
Democrat.
retarded white boys, gay white boys, pretty much all of that. That would be all of them. They're all pretty retarded. But anyway, we're gonna skip over that point right there.
No, that's what I answered. 1A funding is intact.
Okay. So let's talk about so-called illegal DEI, as you all have called it, a phrase you've continued to bring up, that I'm still unclear on, especially after 3 federal judges have preliminarily ruled that your illegal DEI guidance is likely unconstitutional and unenforceable, illegal, as it were. Secretary McMahon, during your confirmation hearing, you were asked by Senator Chris Murphy if an African-American history class violated the administration's position on diversity, equity, and inclusion. You said you'd like to look into it. You've been on the job for a few months now. Have you been able to look into it?
I do not think that African studies or Middle East studies or Chinese studies are part of DEI if they are taught as part of the total history package. So that if you're giving the facts on both sides, of course, they're not DEI.
I don't know what both sides of African-American history would be.
Well, if
one side would be like N-word, hang on, N-word, and then the other would be like, Lord Jesus, please pray over his soul, and boy, just don't look at him in the eye, just come on home, and you know what I'm saying, we're gonna praise you. The other one was like, kill the N-word. That's both sides of the history, you know what I'm saying? So that's just a brief history lesson.
in American history.
And pick a year. That's what happened in 2025. That's what happened in 1925, 1825. That's exactly what happened. It's like N word, hanging N word, and the black person was like, "Lord have mercy." I just pray for him.
Part of
Certainly,
history.
but what we recognize
It's being
throughout
taught
what we recognize throughout education is that a course is only 1 year or one semester. It would be impossible to teach African history and say European history at the same time. Do you not agree that it makes sense that there would be separate courses for these courses of study? It has happened throughout history. We're able to do it.
Well, European history, we make sculptures of dead babies. We do weird stuff in the forest. We don't take baths. We have sex with animals and stuff like that. European history, we kill each other. You know what I'm saying? Murder, white on white crime, um, bloodshed. That's pretty much it. That's a brief history of, a summary of European history.
It, not just in history courses. We're able to do it with different
Pedophilia.
types of
I'm
literature
sorry.
courses.
I left out like 60% pedophilia. That's
Or different types of music courses. One wouldn't learn about Baroque music and necessarily have to also learn about African drumming at the same time, right? We can separate those courses.
Yes, we can. And I think just as we teach U.S. history as a separate course.
Certainly. So you do not agree. So you do agree that African American cultures and African history should not be eliminated from courses, particularly AP African history.
Well, I think that African history can certainly be taught and not be considered a DEI course.
Oh, thank you. I have a few other examples that I would like your thoughts on, simple yes or no. If this is a legal DEI, an example, would you say that it would be an illegal DEI for a lesson plan on the Tulsa Race Massacre?
I'd have to get back to you on that.
Do you know what the Tulsa Race Massacre is?
I'd like to look into it more and get back to you on it.
Okay, so I look forward to that. How about the book Through My Eyes by Ruby Bridges, for instance?
I haven't read that.
Have you learned about Ruby Bridges?
If you have specific examples you'd like
that was a specific example.
I'll be very happy.
It was an incredibly.
Now she's so stupid that she don't even know that the specific example is the specific example, right? And this sister is trying to, like, I guess, have her moment and stuff like that, and it's easy to like school them, but like what we need education on is what is racism. You know what I'm saying? She don't have to give a fuck about Ruby Bridges. You know what I'm saying? You have to know every detail for her to get to this step that she is in. She has to know every letter and can't slip up, right? Now for her, like we all know what the real DEI hires is. Well, we know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the question is, what are we gonna do with this, knowledge? Now, she don't even know what the Tulsa race massacre is because you know why? When you go to school, you don't learn about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And this is when I was in school and I was in middle school and all that stuff when Clinton and stuff was in office, the first black president, or I guess the third black president. You got JFK, he was the first black president. Um, then you got, okay, yeah, the second black president was Bill Clinton. So the second black president, I was in school, right? And they wasn't teaching. I don't know who Ida B. Wells is. I don't know who Marcus Garvey is. I don't know none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I was, just to be fair, real quick before I let you speak on it while we on the schools thing, right? I just want to play. I'll play this dude here because I'll be fair,
Charter school in Connecticut is now
And he only talked about this, so
Victoria Middletown Charter School in Bridgeport, Connecticut, was approved by the State Board of Education in 2023. But here we sit 2 years later, and they still haven't received any funding, and they've never opened their doors. Now the Charter Network is suing the State Department of Education, challenging an October decision that says the board can approve a charter, but only the legislature has the authority to actually provide the money. Joining us now, Dr. Steve Perry, head of schools with Capital Preparatory Schools. So let's go right here, Steve. So for the folks who don't understand this story, the state goes through a process. Capital Preparatory, your school there, is ranked number 1. Not 2, not 3. You're ranked number 1. They decide to not fund the #1 ranked school, but fund the #2 and 3 ranked school. Is that what's going on?
Not only is it what's going on, there's a case. There's the whole entire case. It doesn't make sense when you say it out loud. It doesn't make sense when you read it.
Now, does it make sense to you, my brother Anthony?
No, none of that foolishness makes sense to me. But 4K, this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to say real quick on that issue about what the sister was talking about. Now, okay, unfortunately for us, black children in this country, or black students, are a part of the American public school system. The American public food system, right? I call it education system. You and I were, both of us were. What I'm saying is this, okay? Yes, okay. If you go like a sister like her, or other brothers and sisters who are in the government fighting, fighting for whatever the cause that they fighting for, against the DI, all of that stuff. What I'm saying is this: okay, that's cool. Hey, go ahead. Y'all go ahead on and fight. Y'all do that. That's good. That's good. That's cool. What I'm saying is this right here. In the first place, I go back to what Malcolm said. Brother Malcolm said, why do you expect your oppressor to educate your children? You know what I'm saying? And what I put it on is we as black people need to educate our own children, educate them in our homes, educate them in our predominantly black schools and our communities. We got to say, well, fuck all that other shit, man. We live in an all black neighborhood. We need to educate our children on what's real and on the real history, our true history, our story, and everything instead of what, the national American education system do. We need to have braver teachers. They need to do that. And like I said, it starts at home. No, we need to educate our children on the history. We can't think that we could send our children to go to these schools, man, and think they'll get educated on their real history. You know what I'm saying? It's that's on us. And and we see a lot more of it now. Man, a lot of black families are sitting there doing homeschooling now. You know what I'm saying? It's a growing movement. What I'm saying, basically, you can't expect the American public education system to educate your children. So, that's why I be critical of stuff like that. But at the same time, yeah, okay, yes, we want them to, hey, go ahead on. We support y'all. Y'all go out on fight for everything that y'all fighting for on our children's behalf. But at the same time, I'm just saying, we can't expect the oppressor to educate our children. That's dumb and crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's dumb and crazy. We need to educate our own. It starts in our homes. It starts in our communities. Dr. Bobby Wright said, the only education that you can receive is from your people. Now you can go to school and and learn skills or whatever, that can help you navigate in this system. But the only education you will ever get is from your community. You know what I'm saying? Forecast your community in Richmond, Virginia, on that community that could educate you. Man, it's Shreveport. My people and our people are the only ones who can educate us. You can't get no education. You can get indoctrination. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I just want to say, man, yeah, I'm not against the sisters, or other brothers and sisters who fighting, against this DI thing, whatever. I'm just saying to them that they need to focus more on true education in the black community. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I would say this, any black person who's trying to fight for the advancement of black people. Now, I ain't gonna say the advancement of everybody now. All right, now that's where we're gonna draw the line, but the advancement of black people, that's a good point, and that needs to be said. But the thing is, right, it would be stupid for me if I have you in a position where I can have you as workers, right? Where I can have you in public schools where you learn to be a worker instead of in a private school where you learn to be a business owner or how to budget your money, which they teach their children at a young age how to take over businesses, right? And even the Asians, they just have their kids in the stores working at 3 years old, But I would be dumb to educate you on your history. Why I'm gonna teach me about Ida B. Wells? Why would I teach me about that? You know what I'm saying? Because I might be influenced to do what she did. Why would I teach you about Marcus Garvey or whoever? that you would say is your hero, because you might be inspired to do that instead of shut the hell up and go to work tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might be actually mad enough to do something about it, even if it's just to say something or whatever. But you might do more than just say something. So like, that's the point, right? It's not about like, it's about loving yourself so much that you know what racism is. You know what I'm saying? First is the ability to control your own destiny. Now the part that we gonna have to talk about, or we don't gotta talk about it now because we far from it, but the ability to control other people's destiny part, you know what I'm saying? But first let's worry about controlling our own and having our, now this is why I be like, they gotta stop taking our tax. We should be fucking like ready to burn down the country because they take down our tax. They taking our money from us. We paying tribute to them. That's what we're doing. Like, you know, we could be like, oh well, Haiti had to pay France all of this money. Well, we're still paying them because they taking our tax money. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yo, let's see, like, the other way around with their schools, right?
Time now for our CBS News investigation into self-described classical charter schools growing in popularity nationwide, often pitched as a more conservative alternative to regular public schools. But these taxpayer-funded schools also tend to operate with less oversight, and that's raising some questions. Mark Strassman reports on one school.
Taxpayer funded with less overs. I don't care what they go to. They can go to European culture schools and learn about pedophilia and not taking baths all they want to. But once they start taking my tax money to pay for them to learn that European culture, now I got a problem. I'd rather my money, they be like, yo, what even I used to say before, like with the police, right? Like, the police is killing us because like, even when black people kill each other, most of the time, if it's not about a girl, it's about money, right? When the police killing us, they doing it just because they hate us because we are who we are. I would rather my tax money go to the black people killing each other for money. I would rather do more, let my money go to them than the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, send my tax money to them first. But we can organize what we do with our own stuff.
That was launched by a leading school choice advocate who is also the wife of a prominent Florida politician. Now, some parents are feeling betrayed.
I would never, ever put my child in the school now.
Kathleen Satola walked us up to what was supposed to be Optima Classical Academy in Fort Myers.
Empty. Empty.
279 students enrolled for the 2024 school year, including Satola's 9-year-old grandson, Landon. She is his legal guardian.
Regarding gender and race, I want him to be able to make up his own mind.
You felt that Optima would be less woke.
Yes.
But in May of 2024, Satola received this email saying Optima would not open as planned. It cited economic challenges and lingering instability from Hurricane.
Well, listen to this Dr. Umar ass school over here. See, we ain't gonna make fun of because it's only black people that do this, right? It's they didn't scam the people out their money and stuff. Like, you see what's going on. All of their stuff is built on. How we ain't mad about, like, even listen, I get it, like, man, because this is the whole point. But like, insurance companies, is scams, like all of their billionaires and trillion. How you think they got it? By our bloodshed? Because they're scammers. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna point out the black people and we can't trust black schools, of course. But they scam way, way, way more. You know what I'm saying? You just don't care, I guess. You see this Dr. Umar stuff going on over it. Like, that's what, like, the fact that I said Dr. Umar when it's really the faces of it. But anyway, yo, you see this, bro?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, I was just curious about something before I was checking it out. What is the name of that? It's Optima?
Yeah. Optima Classical Academy.
Hey man, I mean, that's just funny to me, man. Because when I think about it, they got that tax service called Optimal Tax Relief. You ever heard of them?
I don't think so. I think I did. It
It's
sounds
a tax
familiar
service.
though.
It's a tax service called Optima Tax Relief. It's
Yeah, I
like
think I heard
when
a
you get in
commercial
trouble with the
for it. So.
IRS. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You know, I mean, I'm just trying to see if I can if that shit tie together. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
it goes. I'm saying it goes to the shit you talking about scam shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, they're a bunch of scammers. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, I'm just thinking about this. They said Optima. See, I know down here I know it's a big tax agency called tax agency, agent that help you with like bankruptcy or when you get in trouble with the IRS. It's called Optima Tax Relief. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about that shit. I say, man, these motherfuckers something else, man. You know
Yeah, I
what I'm
wouldn't
saying?
doubt it.
Oh, now they help you with your taxes. Now they got a school or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, come on, man. Yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny. I was just thinking about it, man.
So I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. But anyway, and yo, in this part, cause I never get off here soon. I guess I gotta skip past this part kind of fast, you know.
Black, not in a good way. If
Because
someone
we
in your
talking
family
about
is
other
dark skinned, we
friends.
clown them. We call them kallu. Look at kallu.
It's up to us to make the change.
All of your examples of oppression or people going through struggle were all from the Black community.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but this reads off to me as jealousy. This man is jealous that one racial group's problems is being talked about and not his own, and they're being talked about from the people at the highest point of the racial hierarchy. I feel like a lot of people of color feel that white people don't talk about the issues in their racial group enough, the issues that,
And that's all we talk about.
all argue white people have caused. And I feel like when they hear white people talking about our issues, it pisses them off because they feel like
You will see more Negroes with a damn Israel flag and a Palestine flag than you would anything else, an American flag, than you would any black nation. All right.
issues aren't represented in the same nature. But instead of being mad at white people, they're mad at us and they're mad at how active and loud we are about our problems, except when they need us to act for them because they feel like our tactics work. Because then they pull that POC unite. My thing is, these groups need to learn that they will never get anywhere hating on Black people, and they will never get anywhere trying to kiss the YT man's ass. If you feel like your problems are not being talked about, be louder. But don't get mad at one specific group because they're doing what they have to do to be.
I think you build a foundation.
All right. So this was the whole thing. I'm gonna skip this, right? We're gonna talk about this, right? Because I know you got something to say about this, my brother.
That we are very rich. We're actually the richest continent with resources. Enough of the lies, enough of the pity, honestly. Let us listen in.
We must really rely on our strength so that we can also be respected in the international community and to benefit from our resources and the resources of the world. When others come to bargain with us, we must bargain with some level of strength. We should not discuss, negotiate with the poverty mentality as if we are begging. We cannot be a beggar in the international community when we have resources. We must have privilege and even bring them to the point they can beg us. It's possible. Possible. It depends how you are approaching it.
It's probable depending on how you approach it. It's most likely depending on how you approach it. When you control, like, listen, our blood itself is more valuable than anything. Like, do you know how much billions of dollars they make off our blood? Like, let alone our sweat and our tears. Why you think they always trying to get you mad and get you active and get you activated? You know what I'm saying? We be on these platforms dogging ourselves out, making no matter what shade of shyster or European or Neanderthal they are, whether you call them a shyster, whether you call them Dutch, French, German, Russian, Spanish, or whatever. and you most likely to bring them down to your knees because you control all of that stuff, let alone everything that is like valuable to European standards. You know what I'm saying? But
I have been there. I have been there. You gave me a chance more than 10 years to be a minister of international relations and cooperation. And before that, Swap gave me a chance to be a chief representative. So I can say a lot how the international community works. And we need to understand it.
And after that speech, you can almost feel the weight of her words. You can.
yo, what you think about that, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I like what the sister was talking about, man. One thing about it was because it was another from the previous prop I want to address real quick, okay? But yeah, about this one. Okay, I understand where the older sister coming from, how she was saying it. Now, our brothers and sisters from the continent, a lot of them, especially particularly of her generation, they have a certain way of saying things. They saying the same thing that me and you gonna say, but they have a more diplomatic way of saying it. You know what I'm saying, Forecast? No, it might not be like as fiery as me and you want to say. No, we gonna tell her don't get about herself. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna talk about some real black power and stuff and everything. We taking back all our shit. You know what I'm saying? We ain't fucking with y'all no more. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk like that. But her being a diplomat, you know what I'm saying? So she say things a certain way. They have a certain amount of decorum with them. But she's basically saying the same thing. Because you know what she said at the end? See about them even begging us. You know what I'm saying? So, I understand where she's coming from. She had a different way of delivering it. But I'm just saying, but I mean, I agree with a lot of it. Like black people, whether we in Africa or whether we here in America and other parts of the black world, we do have to get out of that mentality or that poverty mentality or that powerlessness mentality. When I hear say the poverty mentality, I think about powerlessness, that we can't do nothing for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? That we can't take our future in our own hands. You know what I'm saying? We could do that. We just got to get off our ass and do it and stop being scared and stop wanting to be diplomatic all the time and stop want to be emotional butlers to white folks' feelings. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a thing like this here. Now they would say, she said it like this. No, she didn't say it like, like if it was a black American, he might have said it like that. Well, you know what? Now, we got that from a black man who wasn't from America. We got that from Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? He came up with that black first shit. You know what I'm saying? He came up with that. And if all our people everywhere would adopt Marcus Garvey's mentality, not that black American thing, that was Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? Who came up with that first? And if we adopt that kind of attitude, and that kind of boldness and brashness, you know what I'm saying? I think we'll get along. We'll go even further than we can by trying to be white folks' emotional butler. By letting them know that, hey, we're human and we know you human and let's work together, and let's do this here. We don't hate you or nothing like that. Hell yeah, I hate every last one of you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I understand how the world go. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna let you exploit me. I mean, just exploit me and my people. You know what I'm saying? I know right now I gotta learn the technology and the stuff and the skills and things that you might have. No, I'm gonna learn that shit from you and teach it to my people. So in the end, we could do this shit ourselves and don't have to go to you for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if you could look at it a certain way of what our people from the continent, other parts of the world might say, but they saying the same thing, but they might be a little bit more diplomatic about it. Real quick, Forecast, I want to address the previous one where you was talking about what a sister was talking about how the Asian, the South Asians or the Pakistanis, how they get mad when about black people talking about about white folks talking about black people struggle. They got this sister from the UK now. She got a black boycott movement. Her name is Elaine. They call her Instagram handle is called Elaine the Pain. And she has a movement among UK black people where they boycott the South Asian, these Indians and Pakistanis business and shit. You know what I'm saying? And you ought to see how the Pakistanis, how these motherfuckers coming out after this sister. You know what I'm saying? And just talking, I mean, all of their racism. What I'm talking about is the anti-black racism with these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? That old people of color shit. You know what I'm saying? if they talk about everybody, if they talk about black people and Asian people, all that, if they feel included, it's okay. But once you just focus on our shit, once we focus on our shit for ourselves as black people, wherever we are, that's when all that anti-racism shit come out. Did you see the fight this past week with Anthony Joshua?
I'm not watching that. Yeah, I ain't watching that, man.
Okay, I'm just saying though, I ain't talking about the fight per se. Okay, Anthony Joshua, his brother from the UK, and Jake Paul. Paul. Now, it was a bullshit, but I'm just saying what happened, and I was so happy that Joshua beat the shit out of this hunky. But what I'm saying is, he did one thing. Now, he is, as a black man in the UK, now he's of Nigerian descent, and he raised a Nigerian flag in the ring. And all them white folks in the Pakistanis and all the motherfuckers went crazy. They lost their goddamn man and started talking about his countrymen. You know what I'm saying? Start going crazy about this shit, man. Because he raised the Nigerian flag because you know what? He got in touch with his blackness. You know what I'm saying? And they hate that shit. They hate to see us being about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? All them black, when you get to talk about that black shit like that, all of that shit come out of them. So what I'm just saying, man, trying to appeal to this people color shit and all this other shit, it ain't worth it, man. You need to just be black and fuck everybody else. No, that's all I had to say about it.
Yeah, well, and I'll say, like, listen, I'm glad he broke his jaw and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely appreciate that. I just made it like, I just ain't gonna watch nothing that white boy do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just like a gimmick, but I agree with what you're saying.
I just seen it on YouTube.
Yeah, but yeah, even like well, no, I agree with what you're saying. As far as it's the mentality though, and I agree with what the sister is saying, I will say like, well, I ain't even gonna say that, but I would just say that what the sister is talking about, I can agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Like at least it's in a positive direction. I'm not against what she's saying at all. I look at it as a good thing, and she is absolutely right. Once black people start recognizing themselves a little bit, you know what I'm saying, it changes everything. So yeah, man, it's just being in charge of our stuff, but and I want to show you this real quick too, and then we're gonna wrap it up after this.
I recently shared with you a story of a Kenyan man who traveled to Russia after being offered a job only to get there, and he found himself in a war in Russia in the front line. And basically what he was saying, he was just sharing his struggles, and the news reaching us is that he has been alived. The story went viral.
So apparently this brother who telling this story ended up getting killed here.
So, hello, my people from Africa. Taking this opportunity to record this video for you. As you can see that I'm wearing a Russian uniform right now. It happened, I can say it's a mistake, but it might be a life lesson and maybe might be helpful to others. Russian will keep on recruiting people from Africa, and not only Africa, but to the rest of the world. But the fact about there is that he lied about huge amount of money, like 1 million rubles, but unfortunately, that million rubles will not get anything to your account. They will get rid of your money from your account. And there, also to Africans, there is full of racism. As you can see, I'm dark-skinned, and also there is language barrier. You might be abused everything while you are not understanding anything there. So what I can say that is that before I came here where I am right now, I passed through many bodies, dead bodies. And I know 2 of Kenyans who are already dead. And if They are not dead. Maybe they are injured. Others may come back while they don't have their heads. They don't have their health. The war is full of challenges there. So if you are planning to go to Russia, if you are right to go there and earn a lot of money there, don't be lied. Don't be lied. Just stick to your country. Be thankful to the work which you are doing. Don't rush there because of that 1 million rubles, which will be lied that to be deposited to your account. So I thank God that
So basically, newsflash, Russia is a racist, white people, well, crackers are crackers globally. Isn't that something, right? And then you go there, and just if you think this is fake, if you think this is not real, let's just play like a news thing here.
This secret location in Ukraine holds Russian prisoners of war, captured on the front line. The soldiers are resigned to a life of monotony. But not everyone here is Russian. The prison is holding dozens of African men. Many of them say they were scammed into fighting for the Kremlin cause.
I want to go home. I want to see my family. I didn't know what I was going there.
So you were tricked into
Yeah.
This is one of 5 prisoner of war camps in Ukraine. The Ukrainian government granted us access because it argues its POWs are being treated humanely. The men held.
It's almost like, when you went to like whatever, they have a million wars, but when the soldiers came back, or they had to eat in separate mess halls while the Germans and the Americans ate together because their whiteness, or the British and the Americans before they was Americans, seemed to like could put aside in the middle of a war for these Negroes, It's just like Russia, Ukraine, mortal enemies until it comes to Negroes,
Its
of course.
POWs are being treated humanely. The men held here are currency in future prisoner swaps. Rooms are warm but basic. The common area is cold and silent. Evans Kibbett says he had no intention of fighting. He was once a promising middle distance runner in Kenya, but it wasn't paying the bills.
This running was not paying me, was not giving me money, and also I wanted to support my family.
Where are you from? It's believed some African men arrive in Russia after answering social media advertisements. Evans says he was lured there by a fellow Kenyan working on behalf of Moscow, who told him he'd be paid for doing what he loved.
And he told you that there was a festival where you could go and compete?
Yeah, they told me that after the event, they will give me some allowance.
Do you remember how much it was?
No, they didn't mention.
So if you didn't know how much money you were making, why did you want to go to Russia?
For me, it was like they pay everything. I don't have to pay anything. Then it was like, okay, let me go and visit.
Well, they ain't lying. Ain't gotta pay nothing, but
After arriving in St. Petersburg,
dignity.
he says he was tricked into signing a military contract that was entirely in Russian.
Freedom, of course.
I guess some people might be curious as to why you signed a contract and you weren't able to read it.
I trusted.
White man handed me this contract.
After a week.
It's not just, I'm talking about black people globally, all right? But just so y'all can feel better, but you know why he signed it? Because a white man handed him this contract.
Training, he was sent to the front line.
Bombs, rockets. You wait for your death.
How were you captured by Ukrainian soldiers?
I surrendered myself.
Ukrainian officials say Evans' story is a common one, highlighting his case on social media as part of its information war with Moscow. The Kenyan government believes 200 of its citizens are fighting in Russia. It's asked Ukraine to release all of the Kenyan citizens in its custody.
Why doesn't the Ukrainian government just release them and send them back to their home countries?
Ukrainian side and Ukraine is very open to any negotiations with any government.
But it's not just Kenya.
Negotiation.
Ukraine estimates more than 1,400 Africans from 36 countries are currently fighting for Russia. Tam is from Cameroon, where he worked as a maths teacher. He made the journey after being offered a job opportunity that he thought would better support his family.
Did you know that you'd end up fighting?
He's now desperate to go home.
My wife, my mother, everybody want to see them.
What we discovered in there was something more complicated than I expected. There really is a mix. There's people who say they were tricked into fighting for Russia, but then there's people who say they went voluntarily. They were effectively mercenaries. Almost all of them feel that they've made a mistake, and now they just desperately want to go home.
But for now, these men are resigned to a life.
Yeah, well, a lot of us been wanting to go home for, what, 400, 500 years now? Shouts out to Consider who actually went. You know?
Elias Klua, ABC News, Western Ukraine.
Wow. What you think, bro?
Well, man, forecast. Okay, I'm gonna take it back a little bit. So you know I'm a little bit older than you. Like, okay, I remember back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, when I was in my early 20s. Okay, first of all, Russia is a very racist place. Russia has a thriving, a very influential neo-Nazi of all things. You know, they have a neo-Nazi movement in Russia. They actually do. They have a neo-Nazi movement. You know, just like they do in other parts of Europe, you know, in the UK, they have a and you would think that, well, these white folks like the British and the Russians, you know, they fought against the Germans in World War I. You know, what would they have but they have Nazi party. They have Nazi movements there, neo-Nazi movements. Okay, now the part I was just going to tell you, I remember back in the 80s, you know, when I was first like really getting into a lot of my black consciousness, I know that, you know, like during the 80s, the so-called Cold War. Now, you know, Russia positioned itself as, which was the Soviet Union at that time, as the country that was on the side of the African nations and Asian nations, you know, the non-white world, you know, against imperialism in America and the West and all that stuff. So they had a university. It was like a school for instruction, you know, to teach people Marxism and Marxist ideology and all that stuff. It was called Patrice Lumumba University. That was what it called. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, I heard of it, yeah.
It was called Patrice Lumumba University. Now, you know, now on the surface, like I said, it was where they brought African students and, you know, young African socialists and Marxist communists, whatever you want to call them. You know, there to learn to get instructions and to go out and, you know, and spread Soviet Union ideology, you know, a revolution everywhere. That's really what it was. Okay, but like the local Russians used to have a nickname for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the anti-black racism. You know what the nickname was? They called it the zoo. They called it the zoo. They called it the zoo. You know, the zoo like with wild animals and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what they used to call the Africans. You know, they called it the zoo. So I mean, you know, yes, you know, when this whole thing with brothers, you know, going to Russia, you know, and end up getting tricked over here. I mean, so at one point in time, how many times does it take you to realize, man, I'm gonna leave my country and go somewhere else and try to have a better life? I don't know, maybe send some money back to my family, because a lot of them do that. A lot of those brothers and sisters do that. They have good intentions. Well, I'm just saying, when do we start to say, let's make, and I'm gonna correlate it with black people in this country. When do we say, man, I'm gonna stay home and build my country and make my country into what I want it to be? You know what I'm saying? Me and you, as black men in America. When I'm gonna say, you know, the whole thing was back in the day, I escaped the hood. You know what I'm saying? I made it out of the hood. Well, where you went to? Okay, like the African went to a European country, to a white country. Well, where you went to when you left the hood? You went to a what? A white society. You know what I'm saying? You went to a white society. You You know what I'm saying? Because that's where you made it. You made your money, and now you live there in a beautiful home with your white girlfriend or your light-skinned girlfriend or whatever. You made it out of the hood. You escaped the hood, the black community. You know, this African. You escaped this black nation, your home country, and went to the white nation. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the majority, you find out what? That this was nothing but some fool's gold. You know what I'm saying? It was fool's gold, and it wasn't what it was all chalked up to be. Yeah, you know, a couple of y'all make it and do something, but the majority of us, what you end up doing what? Going back home, or you end up what? Getting thrown in prison, doing some illegal shit overseas. You know what I'm saying? Or you end up doing what? Getting killed. Or getting in prison, you know, fighting in their army and getting captured. You know, now you're a prisoner of war. You know what I'm saying, boy, guys? I mean, that's what it is, man. When we gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna go to this school and get my education, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna build a black community. I'm gonna build my community where I came from. I'm gonna build my country in Africa where I came from to make it into the place that I want it to be. Instead of thinking that the dream, the pot of, the end of the rainbow, the pot of gold is somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like, shit, I mean, I can't really say nothing to that because the question is like, why? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, why? I mean, I get it. No white girls, but well, is that it? I don't know. But anyway, let's just to finish off with something, I guess, more positive, my brother. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but you know the culture that we fought to be a part of. Check out the culture that we fought to be a part of, bro.
Yeah, that good? Yeah, that good? Mm.
Man, you know they family members.
Yo, they more than family members. They lovers.
Open and authentic. My neighbors with pop.
Got the white girl cooking for y'all. But no, look, and this is like what you got to expect when you go over there to eat.
Foot shavings to put them on your food is
Wait, I'm saving my foot shavings. She said.
saving my foot shavings to put them on your food is Parmesan.
That is cheese grater?
White culture, man. She put her foot shavings on their food. Anyway, let's see what they deserve here. You know.
You don't know. You stopped 2 minors. 2 minors. I would like for both of them to come stand right next to me right
This
now.
white girl put her hands on 2 minors.
He was just sitting. She get him? Okay. I would like to see him right now.
I'm right here.
He's gone.
I'm right here.
Maybe pass that off to somebody else.
Yo, because she somehow talked over her name or something.
Why did I smack you?
I don't know. For no reason. I was just standing there. Oh, girl, not swimming, by the way. Let's be real. Hey, call the cops. Just call the cops. Come on. What the fuck? Yo. We could. Yo. Hey, what the fuck, nigga? Nigga, you're tripping, bro.
Oh no. You're gonna get us all killed out here, boy.
All right.
Yes, and I still feel like God was planning. He did that.
You don't know.
I don't think he would have put it there unless he wanted us to do something with it.
That boy gonna get us lynched out here, man. You tripping. But also, let's finish with this one, my brother.
Funny to me. Oh, look at I don't give a fuck. I'm just trying to go out there. Don't be rude. Stop! I'm not. Shut your fucking mouth. You don't tell me shit, bitch.
I think she's tripping.
Yeah, I knew you were one of them motherfucking niggas.
Hey, bitch.
See, this is what happens when you summon a nigga. The hood dude left. Let her go. Let it ride. And then she summoned a nigga. He went around the other hood dude who didn't let his nigga come out. The other one like, oh yeah, this is what you want. And the thing is, you gotta understand something. You can say what you want, do what you want, but you can't choose your consequences, okay? You may get your ass whipped, you know? And the thing is, they may go to jail, who knows what happens? They may get away, but either way, you can't take the ass whipping off. The ass whipping stays. Yeah. So the goal is to not get your ass whipped, okay?
And the key point here is the consequences part, right? Because that is the point, right? There has to be consequences for actions in this. And one sister who I didn't let finish speaking was sitting there talking about it, like we'd be like, we not our ancestors. Well, no, we are our ancestors, because our ancestors wasn't putting up with that, and they was smacking their ass too. You know what I'm saying? Don't be fooled. But you got any what you think about all that, and also anything else you want to add to it?
Yeah. First of all, I want to say, I want to piggyback off what you just said. Where you had these Negroes talking about we ain't our ancestors. Okay, you know what? Yes, overall, we are our ancestors. But I'm saying, but on another level, no, we ain't. And I'm going to tell you why I say that, forecast. Because right there in the land where you live in the land where you born at, we had an African man, a man his mama was from Africa. She was a con woman from West Africa, from what now is Ghana. And you know what he did? When he got mad and he got fed up, he went and got a machete, and he went and got some of his homeboys, and they got machetes and whatever they could get, and they went and killed about 60 crackers. His name was Nat Turner. You know what I'm saying? His name was Nat Turner. He said, fuck this shit, and he went and killed a whole bunch of honkies. So I'm saying, for these Negroes who always talking about we ain't our ancestors, I say, no, you ain't. You know why? Because our ancestors went and cut throats. Your motherfucking ass put up a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Your motherfucking ass to do shit. Like right there, I'm gonna tell you what I love the part of the young brothers getting retribution. You know what I'm saying? Knocking that ugly bitch upside her motherfucking head and all this shit. I love that part. But I'm gonna tell you the part I didn't like. The motherfuckers who had the cell phone should have turned the goddamn cell phone off. You know what I'm saying, forecast?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you should have turned it off, nigga. You ain't in the bed and get that brother locked up. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how a nigga is. Hey, forecast, you remember Minister Society? You remember that movie?
Yeah. With Marlon Wayans now.
Yeah, Minister Society. What a young brother. The 15-year-old who was crazy, who shot and killed them old Asian people. What he did? He went. Remember, he went and took the videotape out and was going around showing his homeboys the videotape. Talking about $59.95. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead of destroying that shit, you know what I'm saying? We do our own self in. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of mentality right there is what get me. You know, the nigga in that video who said, "Man, this nigga crazy." For doing what he did, for knocking the shit out that bitch, for hitting our children. You know what I'm saying? You got niggas in the background, somebody, man, he crazy. Man, what you doing? Shit like that. Nigga, shut up. He should have turned around and hit your ass next. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying we got to get together. Hey, look here, man. If motherfuckers, if y'all can get in a gang and go out and shoot and kill each other and keep your mouth closed, nigga, what you supposed to do when we going against them people? You know what I'm saying? We got to get our shit together, get our priorities right, man. You know what I'm saying? Get our priorities right. And we got to stick together. And nigga, when a brother or sister doing some shit, regulating and doing some stuff that need to be done, cut the motherfucking camera off, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Don't you lay there and sit there and because you know what? That very shit might be the motherfucker sit there goddamn convicted. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I got a thing with this motherfucker with cameras and shit. I mean, it's cool when the police doing something to our people. Yeah, okay, do that. At the same time, y'all who scared, y'all use the camera. The sisters who real, y'all throw some bricks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, don't be doing shit like that. They're putting us on no motherfucking. When I'm gonna regulate, I'm gonna look around forecast, cut that motherfucking phone off. I'm gonna regulate this bitch or this motherfucker. Don't leave the phone on, motherfucker. Everybody don't need to see this shit. You know what I'm saying? everybody don't like going back to the gun thing. You know what I'm saying? To the gun thing, talking about the black gun owners. Guess what? See, some niggas want to let it be known we got a black gun club. Nigga, I don't want nobody to know that shit. I want it to be a surprise when we run up in they shit and fuck them honkers up. They don't need to know we got guns. You know what I'm saying, 4K? Does that make sense to you? I don't want you to know nothing. We gonna be like the Mau Mau. I ain't never heard of them. I don't know the Mau Mau boss. I ain't never heard of them. You know what? I'm gonna be the one who, like Malcolm say, that one who said I never heard of the Mau Mau was he got boss head when boss went to bed. Now I don't know nothing about that shit. Hey nigga, we ain't got no motherfucking guns. No, why all the time we need to be strapping up and get as many guns and bullets as we can. But we ain't got to let the world know it. So the motherfucker can't let their ass stop us on no gun traffic laws and shit. We don't need to let nobody know we got shit. We just need to organize and do it. I mean, that makes sense to you?
No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, hey, forecast. You know what? I done seen this shit too many times. I'm gonna hurry up, man. I done seen this shit too many times in the hood. Now I done been shot, man. I done did some other shit, but I know how them bullets feel, and I've been on the other end of that. What I'm saying, I done seen motherfuckers roll up on other motherfuckers and thinking they was strapped. You know what I'm saying? And got a big ass surprise. You know what I'm saying? Thinking they was going to do something, you know, and it fucked around and pulled an alligator and had to get up out of that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to let everybody know when you in the jungle. You ain't got to let the lion know where you at. You know what I'm saying? You let it be a surprise when the lion get over here and have to end up going back over there with his tail cut off. You know what I'm saying? With his mane gone. So that's what we got to do. We ain't got to lay there and broadcast to the world what we doing. That's our thing. We love to broadcast to the world and tell everybody what we doing. You know, like you and me. You know, like we might be doing our stuff, organized or whatever for the community, for our people, but we ain't got to talk about it. And you have motherfucker, man, well, what you doing? You just on here talking. You just on social media. Nigga, you don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Because guess what? I don't run my goddamn mouth. And you know what? It ain't your business. Because if I say it to you, you might go back and tell them white folks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying we need to, in the future, we need to do our shit, keep our mouth closed, and let them think we just some docile niggas while all the time we gonna be ready for their ass when the shit go down, because it's coming down. That's all I want to say.
Nah, all facts, all facts. I agree with that. I agree with everything you just said. You know, at the end of the day, until we learn that we are all we got, we have no friends and nobody, like, maybe we can wait to the courts of heaven, but shit, it might rule against us even then. So I just rather go ahead and try now, try my luck now and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So listen, until we take it into our own hands, then it is what it is. But there's only one answer, but I ain't even gonna get into that because y'all don't want to know the answer right now. But it's like the brother said, and I'm gonna let that be the last words. It's pathological normalcy. You know what I'm saying? We just normalize psychopath behavior. You know what I'm saying? And excuse it and make excuse, like, it's just crazy. But you got any last words though, my brother?
No, man, not too much, man. I just want to say it was a great show, man. It was great being on the show. I did want to give a shout out, a belated shout out. You know, a couple of days ago, it was Steve Biko's birthday, man. So shout out to Steve Biko and his family, man. You know, he was a brother who fought for black people, who loved black people, and he loved black people globally, everywhere. He was for all of us. So, man, shout out to Steve Biko, man. And shout out to Cassandra, wherever she is, man. You know what I'm saying? Big respect, man, and condolences to Koku, man. You know, he lost his father and everything. And man, a shout out to the Forecast Show, man. That's all I gotta say, man. Peace, brother.
Yeah, shouts out to I didn't know that, man. Shouts out to my brother Koku, man. I'm sorry to hear that right there, man. I know his father was dealing with stuff like shit, like there's nothing I don't really know what to say to that, but like, I'm sorry about that, And yeah, and shouts out to Steve Biko. I talked about him before on here, but I probably should have did it again, but I wasn't even paying attention. You be on them dates all the time. You be on them junks, but I should probably talk about him again. I talked about him before, but And also, yeah, shouts out to Cassandra, who's over there living her best life, is retired. I think it's like 8 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 in the morning or something like that over there. So shouts out to her, you know what I'm saying? And make sure y'all follow her and her whole journey over there and her new page. I think she made it already. I'm not sure. I gotta see. We're gonna be back Wednesday, so we're gonna talk about all that. And you know, just for my last words, man, I'm gonna let this brother have the last words because he was breaking it down in the beginning, so I'll let him finish his thoughts, you know.
Statement is also made that in order for us to be in the condition we're in, we have to have been robbed of our common sense. Yeah, just common sense. In order for us to be in the condition we're in, we must have lost our capacity to see the obvious. It wouldn't be possible for us to be in the shape we're in if we had the power just to see what was right in front of our eyes. We must see it for what it is. You know, people often talk about the abused child, and we go on and talk about, you know, the symptoms of abused children, people who've been abused, sexually abused, and otherwise physically abused. We can talk about how people who've been abused as children, strangely enough and paradoxically, are more likely to enter into abusive relationships as adults. In other words, women who've been physically abused as children are more likely and more than twice as likely to end up in marriages where they will be abused by their husbands than people who have not. People who've been abused as children sexually will be more than likely than otherwise to be approached to engage in pornographic activities and make pornographic pictures. Will be themselves more likely to be abusive. It's as if the abuser somehow is infected, the one abused, with his or her disease. It seems as if people who've been abused seem to be attracted by abuse and attracted to abuse. This is one of the paradoxes we wrestle with in psychology and psychiatry.
Yeah, we are attracted to the abuse, addicted to the abuse, and suffer from battered woman syndrome, you know, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. But we'll be back Wednesday. And shouts out to my brother Anthony for coming on here. I appreciate you, my brother. Shouts out to Cassandra. Shouts out to my brother Koku. Sorry for your loss, my brother. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.